Welcome to the Monday night Zen Buddhism and Meditation. My name is Mark, and welcome to everyone online. Let's see, first time to Dharma Bum Temple. I know Ben, right? Ben?
Yeah.
First time to Dharma Bum Temple?
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you.
And anyone else? First time? All right, welcome. First time to Zen meditation, anyone? Okay, welcome. So, welcome to everyone online. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to put that in the chat. And so with this class, it's an hour long, and what we do is, I'll give a brief overview of Zen meditation, and then we'll meditate for about 20 minutes, and then we'll have about a 10, 15 minutes, depending on the conversation, a little reading and talk on a Zen topic. And then we'll do another meditation, and then have announcements by Vicky at about 5 minutes before the hour, and then close. So, welcome. Is this your first time here?
It is.
All right, welcome. First time to Zen meditation also?
No, not quite. The first time here. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, I'll ring the bell when we start, and after 20 minutes I'll ring it again. So nobody needs to look at your watches or pay attention to the time, because I'm doing that. So you just want to sit in a comfortable way, ideally with your if you can put both of your feet on the, I don't know if you can see how I have mine, but both feet on the ground, if that's possible. If not, it's okay. There you go. And then if you're in a chair and on a cushion, one of the most important things is your posture, is to sit upright. And you want to have your gaze, so you want to have your head in alignment, and you want to have, in Zen meditation, typically we meditate with our eyes slightly open. So I don't know if you can tell, but my eyes are actually open. From your view, they might look like they're closed, but gazing downward, my eyes are like maybe about 20% open. The idea there is just to stay in the moment. We want to be present, and so it's less likelihood to go off into like a dreamland or fall asleep if you have your eyes slightly open. Let's see, your hands, what to do with your hands. In Zen, a typical hand posture is this, it's called a cosmic mudra, and we just set it there, maybe an inch or a couple inches below your navel, and the idea, and then have your thumbs. So typically the left hand fingers over the right, and then your thumbs will be just slightly touching, so that you could kind of like hold a piece of paper from falling in between your thumbs. Let's see. So the idea there too is to help you stay alert. If your thumbs are together and you're holding this mudra, you'll be more alert. And you'll notice if you start to fall asleep or fall out of your posture, your thumbs will go downward, you'll lose your connection. And then you just, if you notice that, just bring them back together. Another, let's see, breathing is important. They recommend to maybe breathe in deeply when you're first starting to meditate. Take some nice, deep, slow breaths in and out. Some people like to count their breaths. 1 in, out, and 2, count up to 10. That can help maintain your focus in the present. Otherwise, just focus. If you're not counting, just focus on your breath. And then your thoughts. Your brain is doing its job by creating thoughts. So you're gonna think. And that's okay, not to be judgmental. Like a lot of people don't meditate or they give up because they think they're not supposed to be thinking, you know. But the idea is to not attach to your thoughts that come up. That's more like daydreaming, and you could spend 20 minutes just daydreaming. So it's helpful to go back and focus on your breath or your counting. Helps you break that cycle of chasing the thought or storyline. Okay. So posture, breathing, thoughts. I think those are like the main. Do you have any questions? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and set the timer. move around, adjust your posture. You need to straighten your legs, if you're on the cushion. Okay. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Yeah.
I was having a hard time with the like 20% gaze and picking a spot. I felt like I kept getting distracted by my eyelids, like seeing my eyelids in the beginning, and I got better. But slow.
That's okay. None of these are hard, fast rules, but they're just tips to help with maintaining our concentration. But yeah, focusing your gaze downward, it takes a while. It can, that's why they call it a practice. So I've been meditating Zen meditation probably since 2017, and I still have the same, questions and thoughts, and I still judge my meditation, and I'm like, oh, my mind's too, I should have a quieter mind, I've been doing this for a while, and it's just, the nice thing about meditation, when we do have these monkey mind, or whatever you want to call it, it gives us an opportunity to look at what's going on in my life, because stuff comes up, and maybe my crazy mind is a reflection of my life in some way out of sync, or yeah. So, any other questions? So there's this great book here by Thich Nhat Hanh called The Heart of the Buddhist Teachings. And Thich Nhat Hanh was a Vietnamese monk who really a great teacher. He died a couple of years ago, and a lot of really wonderful teachings. So, I'll just read a few passages. So it says, because there is suffering in your heart, it is possible for you to enter my heart. The Buddha said this. So for 45 years, the Buddha said over and over again, I teach only suffering and the transformation of suffering. So here it says, please don't be imprisoned by your suffering. Don't ignore your suffering, but don't forget to enjoy the wonders of life for your sake and for the benefit of many beings. Without suffering, you cannot grow. Without suffering, you cannot get the peace and joy you deserve. Please don't run away from your suffering. So then he one of the first teachings of the Buddha was the Four Noble Truths. And so after realizing complete perfect awakening, Samyak Sambodhi, the Buddha had to find words to share his insight. he already had the water, but he had to discover jars like the Four Noble Truths and the Noble Eightfold Path to hold it. The Four Noble Truths are the cream of the Buddha's teachings. The first noble truth is that suffering exists, also known as dukkha in Sanskrit. Another translation in Chinese is bitter. So it's sort of like a dis-ease or a discomfort, a feeling of various types of suffering. So we all suffer to some extent. We have to recognize and acknowledge the presence of this suffering and touch it. The second noble truth is the origin, the roots, nature, creation, or arising of suffering. So we need to look deeply into where is our suffering coming from. I had a phone call today with the quote, customer service, and it was like the circuitous route of getting to who I needed to talk to and then getting disconnected. And like, I was like the rage I felt bubbling up inside. I was like, oh, and I'm like, oh, I'm suffering. This is dukkha. So the third noble truth is the cessation or the cessation of creating suffering by refraining from doing the things that make us suffer. So I told my neighbor about my problem with the customer service. You know, it's like we feed into the suffering and want to tell others about our suffering, which prolongs it. And the fourth noble truth is the path that leads to the refraining from doing the things that cause us suffering. So another way of looking at the Four Noble Truths is that suffering, it's like the medical model, like you have suffering is a disease or dis-ease, that there's a cause of the suffering, and it's a craving or clinging to whatever, you know, whether it's a customer service phone call or something more. We cling to the suffering. Then the third is the treatment, that there is a treatment to end the suffering. And then the fourth is like a treatment protocol, like the doctor gives you a prescription, and the prescription is the Eightfold Path. And the Eightfold Path are, in Chinese it's translated, I like the Chinese translation of the path of 8 right practices. And right view, right thinking, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right diligence, right mindfulness, and right concentration. And I don't have enough time to go into each one of them, because there's literally one chapter on each one of the Eightfold Path. But they're very helpful. I can't say I've fallen off the beam many times with practicing most of them, but you know, the right concentration, having a meditation practice is one of the most helpful aspects of the Eightfold Path in my mind. And having right view also, just having the wise view of having a daily meditation practice and sticking with it, being diligent, leads me to, is my thinking, am I right thinking, right speech, right action? So I didn't swear at the person on the other end of the phone. So that's progress. Progress, not perfection. Yeah. So the Four Noble Truths. A lot of people think that Buddhism is about suffering and talking about suffering, but it's acknowledging the suffering exists, discomfort, dis-ease, and that there's a way out, so that we're not clinging on to it. And life is so short, why not try at least to move on so that you can experience joy and happiness and ease and, be more in touch with, your day. I walk my dogs now and I'm like, oh, it's springtime. I mean, it's not as magnificent or brilliant as I grew up in Ohio, which is, but at least I'm able to be in the moment and see what's blooming, and it's a beautiful thing. So that's really what Buddhism is helping us awaken to. Anybody have any other thoughts or comments on any of this? People online, if you want to comment, you're welcome to. Yes.
Thank you for the reading and the space. More shall be revealed the more we practice. And for me tonight, it wasn't about the posture. I mean, I learned a lot, so thank you. And I started with the disciplines, and I'm tired. So it became more about keeping awake and the eyes open and the glasses off.
And the what off?
Glasses off. I took my glasses off.
Yeah.
And
taking glasses off.
I had the, I don't want to go on and on. I had the honor to work in India for altogether 2.5 months a few years ago. Mm-hmm. And changed my life. Totally changed my life. And so sitting and looking, just knowing the shapes, and I've been in the room before, so I know some of what's in here. Mm-hmm. So it was about the color, it was about the Buddha, it was about, I don't remember all the Indian aspects, but this is I refer to it as Mother India. My Indian friends today, and the practice, I keep coming back here because when time and clarity permit, the suffering part, I guess I don't want to unpack all of that right now. I'm happy to take a couple of minutes after and spend more time on it, but suffering is optional.
Right. Yeah, I like your more will be revealed. All right, thank you. Anybody else have any thoughts or comments? Yes.
So I was walking my dog today as well. And I was walking and I went around a corner and somebody, zoomed by me, and my brain went to, if my dog got hit, I would be so mad. And I made this whole story up about, as I was walking her on this lovely sunny day, and I was able to stop myself from going into some story that's probably never gonna happen. But, because I was getting angry, like, you know what I would do, and, you know, that creating suffering for myself by making this stupid story up that wasn't happening. Nothing even happened. The car went by, that's it. And I was happy to be able to go, stop that, you know, feel your feet walking on the ground, the sun on your face, and, you know, enjoy watching my dog sniff everything. It's such a practice. I have that habit of making stories up out of things that, and being aware that I was doing that is in part from the practice that I do. You know, sitting on the cushion and just, when I sit, I have my eyes partially open, so I don't get pictures in my brain, so it's better for me to have my eyes open. And I try to listen to sounds and not make a story about them and move on. And it is such a practice. But it was quite the victory for me that day. So thanks for sharing.
Great, thank you. I can definitely relate with the dog walking because it's real and the concern is real. I take an extra look each way when I come to stop signs. You know, I don't assume that the person behind the wheel is going to stop or come to a full stop. So, you know, but yeah, keeping that story going and, you know, is where letting go of that, clinging to the story of what if, and yeah. Anybody else? All right. We'll go ahead and what do we have, Vicki, about 10 minutes?
Yeah, I only need like a minute to read my little
Okay.
thing, so.
Well, let's do 10 more minutes. And you're welcome to sit in the chair too. Again, just like upright posture, feet on the ground, that kind of. Yep. thanks everybody for coming, and we're going to have, Vicki has a couple announcements. Take it away.
Hello everyone, my name is Vicki and I'm tonight's host. We opened the Dharma Bum Temple 18 years ago to introduce Buddhist practice to those who show up. Those who lead are not nuns, monks, gurus, masters, or teachers, and are not looking for students. They are simply practitioners sharing their interpretation of the practice. Every night we have different classes led by different people from various Buddhist traditions. We have a recovery sadhana that meets several times a week for anyone with addiction problems, and our food redistribution program meets every Thursday at 4:30. We have classes and programs every day, and everything we offer here is always free. The full schedule is on our website, posted in the entryway above the shoe rack. We have a lending library. If you see a book you like, feel free to borrow it, and then bring it back whenever you are finished. Please straighten your seat or cushion before you head out. And thank you for being here. Thanks, Mark. And we wish you well and hope to see you all again.
Okay, night everyone. Night everybody online.